NBA players who have been to prison. J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith may have changed his ways since he's become an NBA champion, but he was also charging his way down the interstate highways nearly a decade ago. Smith was sentenced to 30 days in jail in 2007 after he pleaded guilty to reckless driving, according to the Denver Post. He only ended up having to spend 24 days in the slammer after his black SUV ran into a stop sign and crashed into another car, killing the other driver. Smith has a history of car accidents and reckless driving. He has received 2 speeding tickets and 3 license suspensions in the year after his accident, according to NJ.com. Allen Iverson. Even the beloved AI has been to jail. In 1993, Iverson was part of a mob fight at a bowling alley in Hampton, Virginia. Along with several of his friends, Iverson was arrested after allegedly striking a woman in the head with a chair. Ouch. Originally, the All-American 76ers shooting guard was sentenced to 15 years in prison, but after spending 4 months at a Newport News correctional facility, AI was pardoned by Virginia's Governor Douglas Wilder. The overturning of Iverson's case was due to insufficient evidence, as his attorney stated he left the bowling alley as soon as the mob erupted. Eddie Johnson Jr. Fast Eddie Johnson, the banned shooting guard for the Supersonics, Hawks and Cavaliers, has collected plenty of arrests in the Florida jail system for nearly everything. Yes, you read that right. Johnson has had his fair share of problems with drugs, sexual assault, burglary, violence, and much more. You name it, and Eddie Johnson has probably been arrested for it. In 2008, all of his charges caught up to him, and Johnson's life spun out of control. He was convicted to life in prison without parole for molesting an 8-year-old girl and is currently serving that sentence, according to OCALA.com. Darren Mookie Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock, a former NBA point guard, was involved in a terrible head-on collision in 2013. He was driving himself and a passenger, Monica Murphy, when his car crossed over the center line and caused the crash. Blaylock barely survived the crash as he was put onto life support, but his passenger did not. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. However, that sentence was reduced to 3 years in prison as part of the plea deal. Blaylock, who had a history of DUIs and drug interactions, will be placed on 8 years of probation following his prison release. Keon Clark. Keon Clark, former power forward for many teams, is currently in jail. After leaving the NBA in 2004, Clark faced multiple charges, including possession of marijuana and illegal weapons. According to Clark, Clark reportedly dealt with alcohol abuse and never played any of his NBA games sober. Later in 2013, Clark was sentenced to 8 years in prison, where he resides today. He is 3.5 years into his sentence.